Okay, so what we're going to do today is we're going to dive into how to plan a coaching session. And I'm just going to use a little bit of the content that I teach within my NLP Practitioner and Breakthrough Coaching program. And I've popped a link. So if you're on Instagram, you will be able to see a link. However, if you're on the Facebook Live with me, you'll be able to see in the description there is a link to find out more about my full NLP Practitioner program and Breakthrough Coaching program. So as always, I'm Rebecca Lockwood, your neuro-linguistic programming trainer, hypnosis trainer, and breakthrough coach trainer, and I'm super excited to support you today. So this is a question that I've had tons. So within Facebook, we have a Facebook group that we run where we support coaches and really understand, like, what is it that you need? What do you need the most help with? What are you struggling with in your coaching business? And what are you finding challenging? And how can I help you, really? And this was one of the biggest things that's been requested, to really understand how to plan coaching sessions and how to host coaching sessions. So that's what I'm going to dive into today. These sessions are usually about 10 minutes long. However, some of the topics have needed a little bit longer than that. So I'll give you as much value as I can in the time frame that I've got. So we're going to dive into how to plan coaching sessions. So it's important to think about how to host your coaching sessions, because when you're working with your clients, you need to ensure that you know what your outcome is going to be, right? When you're marketing yourself, for example, and when you're working as a coach, you need to know, like, what are people coming to me for? What am I helping people with? And what is it that I do? Like, what is it that I do that supports my clients? So what are you supporting them with? So it's really helpful as a coach to have a really good structure to the sessions so that you achieve that outcome, right? So you achieve that outcome for them and you ensure that they are getting the most out of the sessions. And also to ensure that as the coach, you know where you're at in the session, right? Because obviously you're getting paid for your time within the sessions. And so it's important to make sure that you've got a structure, right? You've got a structure and a process to them sessions. And also so that when it comes to hosting your sessions, you don't go over that time, and you keep within what you're offering, and you know where you're up to within the session at all times. Okay, so the question that I get a lot is, like, how should I format my coaching? Should I take people through a process? Should I specifically take people through specific steps? Or should I ask them what goal they've got on the session and work on that? Right? That's a question that I get a lot. So if you are working with your clients on a specific program, then what you'll find is you have a program and a process that you follow, that you take them through, like a proper structured program. So for example, that could be a 6-week program, and within each week or within each session that you hold within them 6 weeks, you have a specific thing that you want them to work on, right, to get the outcome, to get the desired outcome and the result. So what you may find is that you might think, right, well, firstly, I'm taking people through a specific process, so I need to ensure that they're doing specific things. Now, additionally to that, you may also think, right, well, when people are going through this specific process, these specific steps, they may also want to have a look and go through a certain, like, stuff that's coming up, right? So if, for example, you've got a 6-week program, you take people through specific steps within that 6-week program because it's a process that you're taking people through. You may additionally want to have another session, whether it's one-to-one or group sessions, where you go through, right, what is it that you're working on this week? Yeah, and that's the question that you ask. What is it that you're working on this week? Now, when you have sessions where you're asking that question, what are you working on this week? You still want to have a structure and a process to them sessions, and that's what I'm going to go through with you today. So I'm not going to go through how to put together a process. I have talked about that before in my training previously, in free trainings, and I'm also going to speak about it on our training on Wednesday as well. So that's going to be really exciting. So additionally then, when you're working with clients and taking them through a process, you might also want to do the weekly session where you work on a goal-based session. right? So it might be a goal-based session around your program, and it can be anything specific, like around your process or your program. It could be something that's come up for them as they've been going through it, or it could be that they've been through your program, right? They've been through your program, and then you offer them some ongoing sessions where you work on a goal-based sessions. So you go through a specific process on the sessions, but they start with, what are you working on at the moment, or what is the outcome that you want at the moment, or what is your goal right now? Okay, so let's have a look at the Grow coaching model. Now, it's not, you may have seen the Grow coaching model before, and it's not the typical Grow coaching model that I use. I'm also going to go through a little bits of extra nuggets that I use and I teach my students to use within coaching sessions to really help make sure that you're getting a really great outcome for your clients. So the G, grow, right? The G stands for objectives or goal, right? So as I said, what are you working on at the moment? That's a goal, right? What is the outcome that you want from this session? That's a goal. So what does your client want to get out of the session? What will help them right now? What would a successful session be? Yeah, what would a successful session be? And then you want to feed this back to your clients in their words. And this is really important. It needs to be in their words, because as I'll teach you within my NLP practitioner program, we all have a different model of the world, and we all filter and view our worlds in different ways. And the reason why it's important to make sure that you're feeding this back to your client in their words is because we all have different representations for different words, right? So I might say a word and have one specific representation and perception of that word, but you might say a word and have a completely different thought of that word, right? You might perceive it completely differently. So it's really important to feed this information back to your client as if they've said it, yeah, in the exact language that they've used, so you don't impose your model of the world onto your client. So the next thing is reality. Like, where are they now? What have they currently done so far to achieve their goal or outcome, right? What is the situation currently? Really getting to the bottom of what's happening for them, and really understand, like, what's going to happen if nothing changes. Like, if they stay where they are now and they don't achieve that outcome or goal, or that thing, whatever it is, what's going to happen? Yeah, really get into the reality of it. What have they already tried? What has worked? What's not worked? Yeah. Okay, next is options. So when it comes to options, we want to look at, like, what are the options that they've got in this situation? What could they do better than they've already been doing, right? What could they do better than they've already been doing? Because quite often what we do is we're trying to do something, we're trying to achieve something, and we're trying the same way and it's not working, and we try again the same way and it doesn't work, and then we try again the same way and it doesn't work, right? Within our NLP practitioner program, I teach you about the law of requisite variety, right? And it's so powerful. The law of requisite variety is about really understanding that we can change and adapt and change our approach if necessary. Like, there is no such thing as failure, only feedback, right? That's another NLP presupposition I teach you within our NLP practitioner program. It's not possible to fail, we can only get feedback, right? And the law of requisite variety, what that means is that if something's not working, change your approach and try again. If something's not working, change your approach and try again. If something doesn't work again, ask for help and try again. If something's not working again, ask for different help and try again, right? It's about adapting and to what's necessary and doing what's necessary in order to achieve what you want. So when it comes to options, like, what have they done? How can they change their thinking to achieve different results? And what have other people done in this situation, right? What have other people done in this situation? We've then got way forward. So what action steps will help you move forward and need completing before the next session, right? So based on what they want to achieve and the discussions that you've had around what they want to achieve, what are the actions, yeah, that they need to take to move themselves forward between now and your next session with them? Okay, if the action is fully completed, will there be anything else that needs doing, right? Is there anything else that needs doing? We then want to make it real. What are they actually going to schedule into the diary? Yeah, so based on the actions that they've set and the things that they say they need to do, what are they going to schedule in the diary? Make sure that they give you a specific time frame and put that in place for accountability. So when are they going to achieve it? When are they going to have it completed, right? When are they going to have it completed? Now, a nice little sprinkler that I like to include within the sessions is you may find, right, and I found this numerous times in sessions, that you may come to the end of a session, you may be talking about the actions that they're taking, the things that they're implementing, the things that they're putting in place between now and the next session, and then all of a sudden they might have a little bit of doubt, right? They might have a bit of doubt and they're not sure that it's possible to achieve the things that they're saying they want to achieve, or implement the actions that they're saying they want to implement. Now, if this happens, it usually happens at the end of the session, towards the end of the session. Now, you want to ensure, as I said earlier, that you keep your sessions within a certain time frame. So you don't want to go over time. And so what happens is, if they have some like belief or limiting belief or a lack of confidence in their abilities to make these things happen, you may not have time to implement a full limiting belief technique, which is what I teach you within our NLP practitioner program. So you may have like 5-10 minutes left of your session. You don't have time to implement a full technique. So you'd remember that you definitely write it down to implement it in the next session and to check in for where that belief came from. However, when you're right at the end of a session, you still want to ensure that your client is going to have the belief in themselves to make sure that they take action and they achieve the outcomes that you want, right, and that they want. So this really quick belief technique will really help you to support your clients to believe in themselves and believe in achieving this goal or achieving this task between the next session. So firstly, you want to check in for congruency. So does your client have full belief that these actions are possible, right? Do they have full belief that these actions are achievable and that they're possible? If you think that there's a lack of belief in their ability to achieve the goal or outcome, or they just have a bit of a wobble at the end of the session, you can use this really, really simple technique. Now, are you ready for this? Because often when I share this, people are like, what? Right? Like, what now? But this is so powerful, and I'll explain to you why it's powerful in a minute. So all you do is you ask, when you go into your living room later, how confident are you that's going to be a sofa in the room or chairs, right? When you go into the living room later, how confident are you that there's going to be chairs in the room? 10 out of 10. Okay, how confident are you that you're going to achieve that goal? They might say 7 out of 10. And then you just go back and ask again. When you go into your living room later, how confident are you that there's going to be chairs in the room? 10 out of 10. How confident are you that you're going to achieve your goal? 7 out of 10. When you go back into the living room later, how confident are you that there's going to be chairs in the room? 10 out of 10. How confident are you that you're going to achieve your goal? 8 out of 10. When you go back into the living room later, how confident are you that there's going to be chairs in the room? 10 out of 10. How confident are you that you achieve your goal? Right? And what will happen is their internal representation of them achieving the goal or the task or whatever will start to change and merge into the internal representation of going into the living room later and having the chairs. Now, this is a super powerful way to get a really quick change and a really quick result, to have more belief in achieving something really quickly, because it merges the internal representation so fast that the individual client won't realize what's happening, right? But they will have more belief in what's possible. So you just keep repeating that until your client says 10 out of 10, right? And like I said, when I first explain this to people, they're like, what? But when you think about it like this, right? When we think about having chairs in the living room later, or a sofa in the living room later, you are 100% certain, right? There is definitely 100% that's going to be there later, right? When you think about another thing, whether it's the goal or whatever, the internal representation will be different, right? And it'll be in a different location in your mind when you think about it. And the elements that make up the picture will be different. So for example, it may be darker, maybe a smaller image in your mind. And when we think about the belief that is absolutely true, the belief that there'll be chairs in the living room later, you are 100% certain that that's possible, that that's going to happen, right? So we merge them both together with that really quick and really simple process. And it's a really powerful way to do it, because if you come to the end of the session and your client's having a wobble, you want to make sure that you're supporting them to achieve the things that they want to achieve, and then make sure you write down when the belief came up, what it came up around, so that you dig a little bit deeper into the next sessions. And I teach you how to do that fully and properly with a full technique in my full NLP Practitioner and Breakthrough Coaching Program, which if you're on Facebook or the podcast, you can find in the show notes. And if you're on Instagram, you'll be able to find the link in my bio. So that's it from me today, ladies. I wanted to share with you a really easy way to plan your coaching sessions in a way that's going to support you to make sure your clients get the outcomes that they want from working with you and in the sessions, and to ensure not only that they're going to get the outcomes, but also that they have full belief in themselves as well and what's possible. And also this is helpful for you as a coach, because you'll know at each point in your session where your client is up to. You'll be able to keep good timing of it to make sure that you don't run over, and you'll have a really clear plan to follow when you're working with your clients. So that's it from me today. Have an amazing day. If you want to find out more about my NLP Practitioner and Breakthrough Coaching Programme, it's fully certified and fully accredited through the Complementary Medical Association, the ABNLP, which is the American Board of NLP, which is the largest board of NLP in the world, and also the AIP, the Association of Integrated Psychology. So we do certify and accredit our course to the highest possible standard. So if you want to find out some more, just pop over and find the link in the notes. So have an amazing day, and I'll catch you all later.